Welcome back to Let's Play Hot Wheels Beat That. The final race. I honestly don't know what Sooo Fast is capable of here. We saw what happened on this exact race last time. I don't know what's going to happen now. In all seriousness, I don't know what to expect in this race. Chaos. You still see Slingshot holding out. I would have really liked to get that speed boost, dude. I will have lost him eventually because of that EMP, I guess. But this EMP will also cancel your speed boost. Still, I would have liked that. Sooo Fast is here and more refined this time. Knows the racing lines in and out. There's still only so much one can do, though, about being so slow here. This car is way better than Jackhammer. We're not working with minimum speed or anything, also. Just making safe state in case anything crashes. Okay. Ooh, is that Slingshot? Yes! Here we go! We're not gonna get even. We're working here together. We're only rivals in the sense that we're gonna ask who can actually finish this course first. But beyond that, that's interesting. The ice broke very quickly, but I did not regain control. But beyond that, we're working together. We're in this side by side. It's gonna be the two of us this time. We're gonna save this bowling alley together. We're gonna right what once went wrong. Those many months ago. At least in real life. In the story, who knows? I don't really have a time scale in this universe. This part here, there's nothing you can do, you just lose ground. There's also now less I can do. Oh, no, don't you dare! Ah, multiple times too? Jeez. There you go. I wish that didn't have to break up the pacing, but... No! You are not getting past me there. We're gonna have to chance it. Get the speed boost. We've seen the bad things that can happen here. Ah. Making a break for it. Go on. Go on, Slingshot. Come on. If I can't catch up to him, you're our only hope. You're the best equipped. I know you're not in the best condition right now, but you're the best we have. Get up! Screw him up! It almost really does feel like we're working together right now, and I love that. I don't like going through that part right there. I have a tendency to slam my face into that. Battle Spec 2, you! Yeah, come on! Come on! How about your friend? How about Slingshot? All of us. We're all here at the race, side by side. Beat out this menace that has brought all of us here, dragged all of us into this. It's not just personal for Sooo Fast anymore, it's personal for all of us. Who gets first? I don't know, I don't care. Track team. Sure. And look at that! We do manage to beat them! By a tenth of a second. And unfortunately, Slingshot, they gave it the best they could. This is, I think, their best race. But they just can't handle it right now. And the car's in pieces, literally. It's not even like fully in this plane of existence or something at this point. Regardless. We won. Look at this. So, strictly speaking, Sooo Fast has not managed to get first in every race. However, regardless, I will say, Sooo Fast has managed to greatly outperform its original performance. Keep in mind the types of opponents we went up against this time, and how much better we did. And did not lose to an adversary, but rather a companion, who we are willing to accept beating us out here. I say this is a victory. And how does the tournament as a whole end up? Look at that. Not even the top 5. Governor, I don't know what you were doing today, but whatever. Well, Governor was actually back in the fray, fighting it out with this particular individual and Slingshot. Everyone served a different role here. It's beautiful. But yeah, we messed this guy up. Like, not stand a chance in this tournament. Stats? Forget that. Means nothing. It's all about who's behind the wheel. So, the car in-game is Power Bomb, as you can see. Now, before we actually worry about all the formalities and closing things out and all that, I actually want to, of course, have this game finished 100%, so let's skip out to this. But, finishing this with Jackhammer. I don't know how people can possibly do this in real life, but managed to actually win this. And look at that. In this case, this time, they fell even further behind. 10 seconds behind Governor, too. I don't know what happened in this race. Oh man, I'm not even going to bother explaining the horrendous experience it was trying to win this race, though. And very different results here. Actually, no, not very different results at all. Man, although, except Slingshot did much better. Even holding up the podium with their companion, Battlespec, awesome. But I'm not going to talk about how horrible it was trying to complete this in first place with Jackhammer. Even with save states, it took me like half an hour for one race. I eventually resorted to like RNG manipulation, essentially trying to get my opponents to not get EMPs, so I would not lose my 3 boosts to use on the final straightaway, and for at least one of my opponents to get an airstrike, so it would actually hit my opponents in front of me, and I would have to dodge that airstrike. Look at that, beautiful, beautiful barrel roll. Anyways, so what do we unlock for getting 100%? So, for getting 100% in Inferno, we unlock Speed Bump. Who's that? I started telling me that's been absent this whole time. Why? I don't really know, but it's a very similar looking flat red car. It is, of course, Vulture commanded by Alex Glazjewski, with incidentally max stats. So you might notice, you might be thinking about a few things that are a little bit weird. Before we get to the identity of Power Bomb, or whatever else we call them. There are a few other things. So, one, we do in fact here have max stats. The Ultimate Racer, apparently, despite never having actually been here helping us out for some reason. Alex. Where would we race that? Where would we ride that car? Also, we don't get a better rank than Beat That, which makes me sad. I feel like you should get another rank for getting all the flames. Let's just... Oh, also, music is playing. Whoops. That's not supposed to happen. I usually keep music playing when I'm playing this game off screen because it lags less. That's gonna be annoying to edit and post. I just want to race as Speed Bump / Alex at least once. So what was Alex doing this whole time? I suppose watching over us in some capacity. Were they working with somebody in the shadows? Perhaps. In fact, this is just a pet theory. I don't know if this is going to be something I really call canon or anything. Also, for some reason, if I pause here, I can't access the options. If I pause here, I still can't access the options. Super laggy music, oh no! If I pause now, I can't. I don't know why. Anyways. No, none of you. Let's have non-laggy music, please. a little theory. I'm not going to say this is actually the case or anything, but something to consider. Remember that certain somebody that just appeared out of nowhere at one point? That first servant of that we had a really hard time beating in races halfway through the previous playthrough on Turbo. I was really confused about because I didn't even see it in the car list, like the unlockable car list for this game. Perhaps we might say that Alex was actually them, knowing what's really going on in reality and helping out that in their plans to help everyone else. Why can't they turn? Plans to help everyone else discover the true threat, the one that was behind all of this. Perhaps. Only an idea. But as to what that car was, I intended for that to become more clear. But see, here's the thing. So, obviously that was a car that we have not unlocked yet, despite having 100% of the game. So, that car, it's a little car called Shadow Mark II. It's actually an interesting car, because it's actually based off of a real existing Can-Am racer, which is essentially what you might call a supercar from, what, the 80s, was it? Can-Am no longer actually existing because it was too stupidly expensive, but it's where you got some of the greatest, what are still considered modern innovations in race car technology. It's awesome, supercharging, turbocharging, things like that. But anyways, this real car, called the Shadow Mark II, repainted of course, with Hot Wheels stuff on it, is supposed to be a secret unlockable. I believe it's supposed to be unlockable 2 different ways. Through a cheat code that for some reason is not in this particular version of the game. And 2, through airtime? Not through airtime. Through 100%ing the game. All difficulties, getting every single flame. Oh, that's not really gonna work out. Nope. As you can see here, we've completed every single difficulty with every single flame. And we don't get the car. Why? I have absolutely no idea. I have no explanation as to why it's not available in this version of the game. You can't get it in the GameCube version. Strangest part being, I would have just figured that that meant that it was just, I don't know, not finished in time for the GameCube version of the game and then just included in later versions of the game or something that were made for other systems or something. Nope, it's in this game. We raced it. And the reason it was so hard to race against was because it had max stats, just like Vulture here. So, I don't know. So you don't get your 100% reward in this version of the game, which is horrible. That's another reason I feel so horrible for anybody that actually managed to beat that final race with Bedlam, as with Jackhammer. Because getting every single flame in this game is horrible. But what's even more horrible is not actually getting a reward for it. For no apparent reason. I have no idea why. It's incredibly few people in this world that have actually completed that challenge, I would imagine. Man, I can almost get to the very top. That would be kind of entertaining to see. I'd like to play as the car, but oh well, it is what it is. Makes it especially mysterious. I still have... On top of that, though, I have no justification whatsoever as to why it appeared halfway through the second difficulty. None at all. That's not supposed to happen. Like, ideally you would think that cars not supposed to appear in this game at all, ever, in any capacity, because it's not unlockable or anything. Inexplicably, it just appeared when you're playing with mid-tier cars, except it's a car with max stats. So it's a stupidly hard opponent, out of nowhere. I don't know why. Strange. So having said that, I'm being confused by that. So that's our little run through with Alex, who for some reason was missing throughout the entirety of Beat That in all the games, which was unfortunate. We would have actually gone to play as the Vulture if we played through the DS version, but I don't plan on doing that, despite thinking the DS version is a bit better. But in terms of plot, this version of the game worked out better, because the bowling alley actually exists, so we went back in time to where the bowling alley exists. But in any case, what do we do now? Well, one thing to do. is talk a little bit about someone else. Who is it? The wheels aren't supposed to be gold, mind you. It just does that line in the car select screen. I don't know why. It might look vaguely like a certain someone. You should also play as this car, of course. I want to play as all the cars. Except Shadow Mark II, for some reason. So this might look familiar to you in some capacity. I'll give you some time to think about it. Just a little bit. We'll talk about what went down, though. Oh, hey, it's Whoopido. And, what's their name? Bedlove. Nice. Ah, this one track always lags like crazy for some reason. I never knew why. And a bunch of other unnamed cars for some reason. Yay! It's awesome seeing these guys again. So, what happened here? What's the whole story? What's Slingshot gonna reveal to us? Potentially this person, now that we've actually apprehended them, essentially. Having outraced them, outfought them, and all that. So, here's the timeline. So, at the end of Turbo Racing, all of a sudden everyone finds themselves shrunk in an undisclosed, unknown location. How did that come to be? How are they shrunk? Well, through the largely unknown abilities of this particular antagonist. They were all shrunk down to strange sizes and teleported to wherever it was. Now then, that actually did in fact include Slingshot among those victims. They were shrunk and brought wherever. And then once the gang found, that being ran into Slingshot, rather than allowing Slingshot to explain what had happened, because Slingshot was in fact aware that this was what was going on from the very beginning. At least, once everyone was shrunk. Rather than allow Slingshot the opportunity to explain to everyone what was happening, they immediately take everyone and put them somewhere else. In fact, somewhere where Slingshot cannot explain to them what's going on. Somewhere where they would never listen to Slingshot, and that being the past, where Slingshot was instead known as that. And thus we find ourselves again and beat that. And everyone, yet again, begins looking for that, to beat that. Also, I feel like that should be a blue ring, not a normal ring, but whatever. Considering that's behind the... Shoot, that was a surprisingly nice, pretty much totally sideways drift. So we find ourselves and beat that, where everyone is instead looking for that and attempting to beat and defeat that, instead of doing anything more productive. Meanwhile, this means that with that being wherever else, outside the eyes of the gang who had been searching for that at this point, that means this particular antagonist and that get to come face to face. And this particular antagonist, knowing that that is in on their plan and trying to stop them, now decides to duke it out with that, and that ends in what we saw with Slingshot being in a very, very poor condition, having not come out of that fight very well. Having managed to come out of it in at least some capacity alive, potentially with the aid of their various companions, we do eventually find ourselves, while looking for that... Oh, whoops, I went to supercharge that, so I'd have to read. Oh. We eventually find ourselves whisked away to somewhere else as we're trying to find that. And where do we find ourselves? With the simulation in which we'd actually found ourselves before, that had before put us in. And there in the simulation, that approaches us and explains to us that something has arrived. They're in fact here to help us. And in fact, again, they're trying to get a hold of us. explaining why multiple minions of theirs, that being Shadow Mark II and later on Battle Spec, had been sent for us to try to lead us to that, which Battle Spec had a bit more success with, hence being able to bring us to a place where that could faithfully whisk us away to the simulation without any risk of the antagonist knowing what was going on, or at least being able to follow us. So then, Slingshot not being in such a terrible condition in the virtual world, given that it's just a virtual representation, is able to present themselves to us and explain what little they explain then. And then we, with them, manage to escape, yet again, the simulation. And we come here for one last run through of beat the game, that is, in search of this antagonist. And we run into the very poor condition of Slingshot. And then, eventually, we finally come face to face with our antagonist, the one behind all of these things, who you may have not realized I should have actually skipped. Should have just let the camera stay on this car from in front, but oh well. We find that it is, in fact, our old friend, Greased Lightning. Now why? What is it they want to do? Well, that we'll find out quite soon. But, for now, that's it for Beat That. That's something that we'll discover somewhere else, another time, in another place, after we subdue Greased Lightning, as we have managed to do successfully, and we force them to effectively force them to bring us back to normal size, to our previous time period and all that. A time period in which now the bowling alley has no longer been lost to that's corruption, quite wonderfully. What sorts of races will we have then? With whom? Where? Well, we'll find out next time in the next game. With what motivations has Greased Lightning done these things? We'll find out then. And precisely what led to Greased Lightning doing these things after all the various ways we have helped them. And a few other things about Greased Lightning. We'll learn those things later. Anyways, though, that's all for the story for now. Instead, it's about time we finally take a good look at these credits after all this time. I don't believe we looked at them before. I don't remember them at least. I want to talk a little bit about this game, having actually spent as much time playing this as I have. I'm ready to be done with this game, I'll say that. That's one way of putting it. I think part of it is that I don't know, like, I didn't enjoy my first playthrough of this a ton, but that was just because I was stressing over the secondary goals. So that's why I stopped stressing over the secondary goals, and that helped a lot. But as I kept playing it, one, I just got more and more fed up with the physics, but the physics got so much worse with the faster cars. This game isn't made for the faster cars. The tracks aren't made for faster cars. I've given so many examples at this point, I don't think I really need to explain it in detail. But it was just bothersome in so many ways. And then the cruelty of making you finish the last tournament with Jackhammer, I don't know how you do it. The only idea I have is making sure you use a supercharged boost on the final straightaway. That gives you the slightest chance of staying ahead. But even then, it's not consistent. I don't know how you can manage to do that. And you can't even consistently get a power-up that you want, so I don't know, man. Regardless. Then after all that, not actually getting the reward car for 100% Shadow Mark II on some versions of the game is even worse. I almost want to play the DS version again just to acknowledge its superiority over the console version, as strange as that is, but I'm not going to. I've played way too much Beat That on this channel. And I have no plans for it in terms of like how it would fit to the story or anything, so whatever. So that sums up most of my thoughts on it, I guess. Playing through it later on, it was definitely a lot less stressful playing, not having to worry about goals. It was nice playing as different cars as much as I loved Sooo Fast. But the physics never stopped being a problem. I hoped that it would because I would get better at the game and things like that. It just got worse, man. And over time, I figured out a lot of the quirks of the game's physics, especially with drifting, how you could spin in the air by using drifting, for instance, or how if you got frozen, you could actually turn in very strange, unpredictable, unreliable ways using drifting, even though you're not supposed to be able to turn in that particular circumstance. And I could exploit it in fun and using strange ways, but it wasn't enough to make it worth it. I say that all that as if I don't actually like this game or enjoy it. I'm happy to have played it. I had a lot of fun overall. Especially with how this game was the origin of this entire strange Hot Wheels story thing that I'm doing. It wasn't the absolute beginning in some ways, I guess. Alex came from a lot earlier. The whole Velocity X game came from before this game too, but the real story that happened, that started with going for and trying to beat that, it happened here. Just because of this game's stupid title. PhysX. Not to be confused with PhysX by, what's it called? NVIDIA, I guess. That's the people who made this game. Awesome. It even cuts out the credits for you. I feared it would actually just loop the credits. But really, do I have much more to offer? I'm not sure that I do. I don't know if I really have anything more I want to say. I admit to a certain degree I lost my train of thought just a moment ago. But it's... Oh, I was talking about the title just leading to the strange things. So I have a certain attachment to it for that. I mean that both with a lowercase and a capital T in that particular sentence. And, I mean, I have a capacity for having fun with games that aren't that good. This is a really good example of that. I don't think it's a very good game at all. It's kind of just licensed trash, like most Hot Wheels games are. Not all of them, but like most Hot Wheels games are. Like lots of games I play are on this channel. But regardless, I have fun with them, and a lot of people like seeing them, so I'm happy to serve that role. That's probably the very end of what I have to say about this game. Oh, music comes back on. Very loud music. So, I hope you guys... I can't even go back. This is like the main menu. I can't go back at all. Beep, 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 beep. Okay. In any case, I'll see you guys next time. Whatever it is I play next, I don't actually have it memorized. I don't know what game we're going to play next. But whatever it is, it'll be fun. New games. One of the reasons I was a little tired of playing this game is because I just played through it 3 times, because this game has a lot of filler in making you play through it 3 times, and not even having different goals throughout all of that, unfortunately. The main theme's kind of alright, I'll say that. I think a lot of the music otherwise is lackluster. It's definitely not like catered to the individual tracks, because they switch it around throughout the different versions of the game, which is unimpressive. I don't know. I could start talking about the tracks and whatnot. I'm not sure. This isn't a review channel. People aren't here to listen to what I think about things. If you want to hear more about what I think about certain things, leave a comment and ask. Or leave your own opinions. But otherwise, that'll be it for this episode. This series of Let's Play Hot Wheels Beat That. This triple series. I'll see you guys in the next game. I mean it for real this time. I'm actually ending it now. Bye everyone. Thank you for being here.